Have you ever had a year when everything went wrong? One event after the other. Well, that's what happened to me in 2017. But through it all, I learned that God can bring good out of any chaos that this imperfect world brings to me. All along that difficult year, God was saying, "You can trust me to take care of you." I was optimistic at the start of the new year, but on the 4th of January, I had to unexpectedly have a tooth extracted. The next week, I had cataract surgery on one eye, then the other eye 3 weeks later. That gave me blurred vision for several weeks until I could get new glasses. The 3rd week of January, I had a biopsy on a lump on my neck that had been quickly increasing in size and was starting to affect my swallowing. Doctors didn't think it was cancerous, but were just checking to be sure. In the 4th week, I was informed that my oldest brother had just died by suicide, which was a total shock to me, as I had no clue he would ever do that. My husband Bob and I needed to plan and implement his memorial services.
Everything going on kept adding to the stress in our lives. It seemed as though the burdens were getting heavier.
I continued with tests and seeing other doctors until I was finally diagnosed on my birthday with an aggressive form of lymphoma, and I would need 6 treatments of chemo, 3 weeks apart. At my first chemo treatment, I found out I also needed to be on a high dose of steroids for 2 weeks to reduce the tumor. I endured severe side effects from those treatments. I also found out I would need to take a drug that wasn't covered by my insurance and would cost me thousands of dollars.
The stressful issues were really piling up, but more was coming.
Before I even finished my chemo treatments, I started having breathing problems, as I was always short of breath and lacking energy. So I visited my cardiologist and got more pills to take, which had additional side effects. In mid-August, I went to the ER and was admitted due to being very short of breath and having rapid and irregular heartbeats. After draining my lungs, more tests, and more pills, I was sent home. In mid-September, I was back in ER and admitted with the same symptoms, only worse. After a longer stay in the hospital, including more tests and draining of the lungs, and then rehab, I was sent home with more pills and no answers.
My feelings during this time were like a roller coaster, sometimes anticipating the best when Shirley came home from the hospital, and sometimes feeling the worst when I had to take her back to the emergency room.
Within a week, I was back in the hospital in critical condition with similar symptoms, only now much worse. They then discovered that my aortic heart valve wasn't opening far enough, and they inserted a balloon to open it. However, the next day, I just stopped breathing.
I remember looking at Shirley in the hospital bed. She was on this ventilator and unconscious for several days. The doctor told me it would be a miracle if she survived. It all came to a climax when the doctor called me one night at 1 a.m. to tell me her kidneys were shutting down. He said that if I wanted to say goodbye to my wife, that I'd better come right now.